to this yet second episode of the Rugby Connect 256. With you here, I am Dorcas Mundua.
Shakira Muhammad, Mama Warriors.
Mama Warriors, how was your weekend? You must be the most excited person right now after what Warriors did for you.
How much the sun was hitting me and everything. My boys came through, thank you, finally. But on that later, how are you?
I'm fine.
How was your weekend?
I cannot complain. My team did me well, so I cannot complain.
Okay.
The weekend was actually generally beautiful.
It was beautiful.
Yeah. Except I'm sure you're more excited than me about.
I'm very excited.
Moving in. We are at Chadon Rugby Club. This is the home of the Rugby Connect 256, which is also the home of a number of rugby clubs as well as the national team.
Yes. So we're starting off with what today? We are
men's rugby.
Rugby.
There was actually a lot of action this weekend. There was the men's rugby. There's the women's rugby as well. There was a bit of something which happened on the international scene. It's not rugby games. It was but we're going to get into that.
Shall we hear more about that?
So we're going to start off with the men's rugby. This weekend we had Heathens Mongers. We had Hippos Pirates. We had Impis Cobs. There was your Warriors who played Rams. And then there was Buffalo's Rhinos.
Yes.
For starters, Buffalo's Rhinos didn't actually happen this weekend.
They postponed it, apparently.
There is
COVID.
It's a Rhinos player.
Rhinos player
has
sick of COVID.
Confirmed.
Quick recovery. And hope everyone is keeping it safe.
I'm actually very glad that the team came out and made it public. They didn't just substitute the guy and then put in a healthy person and then let it go on normally. No. They actually did something very professional. They communicated about it. They actually asked for the game to be postponed. Union passed on the information. But Buffaloes did not let the weekend go. They compensated. They had training. Their captain told them.
We're not sleeping.
Hey, I have something for you guys.
Come.
You have
a surprise for you.
After all, you had prepared for the day. Come and train.
Come and train.
Anyway, that's aside.
That's a good. You're a good coach. That's a good coach. You're keeping your team on their toes.
That's also organized. They didn't just let the day go.
No sleeping here. We can't sleep on that job.
So there was Heathens Mongers. That was House of Pain in Entebbe. Heathens Mongers ended 43-9. The Heathens took the game. They played well. In the beginning of the game, Mongers actually started very well. Mongers mounted pressure on Heathens. You would be sure Mongers was going to teach Heathens something. But anyways, there was the first water break. Then Heathens figured out where they'd been going wrong. They were not kicking. They had failed to kick completely. Their first kicker was Ojo, but who was later replaced by Aaron. Then the kicking came back in line. Yeah, but initially they failed. They realized they were not kicking. So they figured out where they were going wrong. They figured out how they could play using the other team's weakness. So they played mainly for maximum points. So they put in 3 tries by the end of the first half. So Mongers totally failed to recover after that. Heathens now had the upper hand. And then when it actually happened that Ojo was later replaced by Aaron, then they
something went up.
Exactly. Now that the kicking even was now introduced, it just was double. There's playing for maximum points in tries, and then they were kicking, and then the Heathens just made a very beautiful game. Scott did a very beautiful job. He actually really played his number. He was an outstanding player on the game. But then line out to 100% for Heathens. Generally, Heathens had the game. It's just in the beginning where the kicking, I think, is what disorganized them. Once they figured that out, and then they actually replaced their kicker, Heathens just it was there. And that was it with Heathens Mongers in Entebbe. Heathens actually won.
So we come back in Kampala.
Back to Kampala.
We start with who? Warriors, we're back home. Yay! I think these boys had my cries. Basically, I figured we're not allergic to winning. We can also win. 24-19, Rams. I saw you first sweep the table, right?
You know, when I saw the fixtures, I'm not saying I was expecting Rams to lose, but that was a game where you expect anything. I was expecting
the Rams had a very good scrum. I don't know what happened. And then people punched each other.
That was what exactly? What set it
Rams punched Warriors. Apparently, Jeff.
Yeah, that's from Rams.
Jeff punched Rubin.
But what I saw on social media, they were both penalized.
Yeah, both were penalized. Jeff was given a yellow card. Ruben was given a yellow card. I think it came from the punching side. I don't know what happened basically on the grounds.
But then at the end of the day, it shows you that, well, we're doing well. If they both got penalized, we're doing well. They both paid their price.
Yes. Rams had a good scrum on the field. I don't know what happened. But all in all, Warriors 24, Rams 19. So I don't know which magic Warriors this time did. I wouldn't want to say because it's Rams, or because the team maybe was weak or something. But
I actually think it was strength. There was no one was stronger. So I'm telling you, for me, for this game, I expected literally anything. Well, also more in the men's rugby this weekend, we had Hippos Pirates. Hippos Pirates won. Yeah, they won. They dominated the game and they won. Well, at the start of the game, Hippos had a very good start. They were actually dominating in the set pieces. That was the scrums. But then they failed to capitalize on it. This is a game where I would say the Hippos knew what they were doing, but then they didn't know it well enough. So exactly. So Pirates just capitalized on everywhere Hippos was going wrong and then dominated the game.
Hippos learned their game and they used it against them.
Now, not really. Hippos were organized for the game. It's like they were ready for the game.
Also, Pirates were
but
ready.
Then, however much, it's like they knew what they were doing in their minds. But when it came to gameplay, they looked like scared a bit. I don't know if they were a bit intimidated by the game and all. So they failed to maintain the order. You could see they had a game plan they were trying to work with, but then again they were shaky. So Pirates figured that out, dominated, because when Hippos failed to capitalize on their scrums, Pirates dominated in that. In line-outs, Pirates dominated. It's not like Hippos didn't know what to do, but Pirates just noticed that the other guys were. Yeah, they just kept choosing the advantages all through. And there was a very poor defense on the side of Hippos as well. And I mean, Pirates just saw that and used it to their advantage. Because when the other team has a poor defense, you have a stronger ability to attack. You have like a stronger opportunity to keep attacking and then just keep going forward. Yeah, so at the end of the day, Pirates figured out where Hippos was not strong enough, dominated them, used their weeknesses against them and dominated the game. And it ended beautifully. Pirates actually won the game. And the Hippos back three also had a problem with fielding. Because of it looked like fear for high balls, so they had also a problem with that. Pirates did the magic of figuring that out, use it against them. Ideally, Pirates just played Hippos at their own game. They didn't need anything special.
That's what I'm saying. They used their game against them.
Pirates didn't need anything special. They just read where Hippos was going wrong, and they they played their game and used their game against
This is your weakness, I'm going to use it against
you. So it was 33-11 at the end of that. That was Pirates and Hippos.
Coming from Pirates and Hippos?
That was it, yeah.
That was it? This next game.
Shakira, touch yourself. Your heart. Because you're a witch.
Because I'm not a witch, but forgive me for what I'm about to say.
You're a witch.
Kumanga. People. Guys were raped.
I feel scopes.
As usual, it's okay, but let me ask. 91-0 mubadde muzanya bani.
Comes Fenet Kubye, yes. But I Fenet Kubye. There is Okulekeramu, you know, like
but you like them
one can drop kick.
Or even was it rhinos, cobs? Baba kuba 52-0. Na impisi 91. Kada tu tukwe muchuko. What were they doing? Now these are the mbu. Mbu. What happened? Yes, Cobs had a nice game. They were dominating everywhere.
Yeah, that's true.
Everywhere, lineups, everywhere.
Scrums, lineouts, open play.
They had the game. They're dominating everywhere. Now, apparently, the reason why the Impies couldn't make a try, these are the excuses. Cobs, you have so many international players, so they knew what national team players, so they knew what they were doing. As if for us when we were playing Cobs, those guys were not there. It's okay. Next excuse was, they were young boys.
Impis as compared to Cobs is lacking a lot in organization.
So much.
That's the team whereby they started the season
apparently-
without a
apparently
coach,
they are-
so
they
they
are-
are very disorganized.
Their hooksman kept on losing balls, basically.
The hooker, yeah.
The hooker, yeah. Kept on losing balls, one after the other. So
Their lineouts was so weak
Cobs,
that
so Cobs realized that they
Cobs
used
just
it on
had
their advantage.
everything, but not just lineouts. Cobs had everything. In open play, it was Cobs. When it was kicking, Aredo's kicking was like
mwah.
Meanwhile,
As usual.
Aredo, you're going to hold how do they call those things? A master class. You're going to hold a master class where you call all kickers and you explain
to them
what you're doing, where you learned it.
Where you learned it. How did you learn
it? How can they?
Because you can't.
These kicks are always
the previous game,
the other games was 100%.
100%.
Same thing this time.
Now this same thing, this Aredo,
you're going to hold a master class for your fellow kickers.
For your fellow kickers. Please invite them. And Aredo, I think we shall invite him one day here.
And he tells us.
And he tells us
the master class is going to begin here on Rugby Connect 256.
You have to tell us, what do you do? These kicks, manange. Do you measure?
But anyway, ideally, it came down to experience. Impis is a very much less inexperienced team compared to Cobs.
They were shaky,
less organized.
Yeah, they were
also,
shaky.
Cobs carries intimidation. That's an honest truth.
Truth.
I feel like Cobs intimidates literally every other team on the table below them. Yeah, and of course, everyone is going to come out and support their team and say, no, us, they don't intimidate us. But there's a way Cobs has built its strategy so well that it intimidates you
on the field.
You just see the blue uniform.
And you're like, to a day.
But yes, it was 91-0. That was Cobs Impis. They did what they did. Like Shakira called it what she called it. But anyway, what happened? There was a red card.
A red card, yeah.
And then a yellow
card.
So Cobs played it was in the 20th minute. There was a scuffle between both wingers. Wingers of the Cobs winger and the Impis winger. They actually had a small scuffle. Anyways, so the Cobs winger got a red and the Impis winger got a yellow. So Cobs played the remaining 60 minutes of the game, one man less. But you still wouldn't. I think Cobs would have played that game 3 men less and you still wouldn't have noticed. That was it from the men's rugby weekend.
Okay.
So yeah, this weekend we also had women's rugby.
Yeah, we had women's rugby.
Like we told you the last time, women's rugby in Central is on Sunday because of the men's league on Saturday. Then in northern
two regions, that is in
Saturday.
So
this weekend in Central, the winner of there are two tiers in Central. That's the seniors and the juniors, tier A and tier B. Tier A who are the overall champions, that was the Black Pals. And then the tier B were
tier B we had the Blue Whales. All these games were in Entebbe.
Yeah,
Entebbe was hosting. So tier B it was Blue Whales.
Yes.
Tier A the Black Pals.
And then
we had Northern Region.
The champions from Northern Region were the Kitgum
Queens. Who
literally won all their games.
Lila Matrix was hosting the game. Then Kitgum Queens, they won.
They were the champions.
For this weekend.
In Eastern Region are the champions.
Mbale Eagles.
Exactly.
And the hosting was the Bugema.
So this women's rugby was equally filled with action. All of that is information you can actually follow on our social media. That's Rugby Connect 256 on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook. We keep you updated with what's happening in the women's league.
With this women's league, I've realized one thing. These are young girls.
And it's very competitive.
And these girls are
like when you actually go the fixtures, it's very, very competitive.
It's not very competitive. Like ladies are not sitting down like there's rugby. We have to, we have to present.
Exactly. It's going well.
Because if you see Eastern and Northern, they can even crown the winning team. And they are posting, and girls are getting medals. The girls are happy. Actually, we shall share photos. So
teams are actually
are building up.
Yes,
teams are building up. So please, women, we need you out there. If you know you can play rugby, please, you can start it off. Western, please. Western, Turiwa.
If it could also be introduced at school level,
so
that the clubs of women keep growing.
School level, so that kids start when they are young. Schools we are limited with sports. Football, literally boys.
Netball, girls, full stop.
Volleyball,
they try to combine.
Basketball, they try to combine. I mean, even rugby, we have ladies who can play. Come come out and show them. We shall host one of the ladies once in a while.
Yes, so
And
that
then
they
they'll
can
tell
keep
us,
giving us
yes.
the information about how the teams are doing.
No, the other
it
time,
and
I need to talk about this. Thank you for our followers who are following us, but I was so proud of one of my friends who asked me, ladies do play. I didn't know that they play.
it's actually good to know that we have told some people out there something.
I'm
here
glad I
about
told
rugby.
someone about rugby, and yes, my dear friend, ladies do play rugby, and it's nice. It's also fun to watch.
Yes.
'Cause,
It actually has
I mean,
a lot of action.
it
as
has a lot
well.
of action.
It's action packed. People in Kampala, get yourself that weekend. Treat yourself to Entebbe and see what the ladies
And
are
what
doing.
the
You will
ladies
be
you will be
amazed.
amazed. How
But
this-
that was it from the female rugby this
So,
weekend.
Kenga tuvudeyo mu bakazi, we come back to the national team. We're supposed to get the names for those who are supposed to go to South Africa on 3rd May. We shall come with that information, I think, later on. We haven't yet received anything, maybe. We haven't
Ideally,
yet.
as soon as it's released,
As
we
soon
shall
as it's
share
released, we
it
shall share
onto
it.
our social media pages.
Yes. 3rd May. That was a Monday. The national team gave a visit to the French embassy UG about the solidarity camp South Africa. Yes. So some of our guys represented. Actually, the whole team presented, but then we had Phil Pokoroch, then we had Mike Wandera, and then we had our captain of national team, Michael Koroch.
Those are people who represented us at the French embassy. Yeah?
The whole team went, but these were the main guys who had to take the
Basipika.
pictures.
Basipika.
Basipika.
Abogerera bannabo abakiikirira.
Abakiikirira. Abatukiikiridde kale be bano batukiikiridde. Omamema nabo mugendayo naye mutuule eno.
So the Solidarity
So,
Camp is actually organized by Rugby Afrique. There is a number of countries from who are members of the Rugby Afrique
Rugby,
organization that are meeting up in South Africa for this camp. It's going to be a training camp to
a national
improve.
team is
It's a
living.
training camp to improve how sevens are. Ideally, they're going to be learning new things from each other. Interactions. Sharing of experience, sharing of knowledge.
I think it's going to be a
different
fun experience
camps.
for them.
It's going to be a lovely experience, definitely.
Obangendereko muhandira gejiyomu.
Tuwulira ng'oli ku sevens, please. Open your suitcase. Shakira can fit.
Please.
Take her.
I can fit. I'm flexible. Naye njagala tambulako ne ba sevens.
But yes, ideally that is it.
So ideally that is it. But
As
I think
soon as the
they
names are released, we will share
we
them.
shall share them. And I think they are leaving either this week or coming week.
They're supposed to be leaving.
As
The week which Monday starts as 3rd May, they are leaving in that week. So Shakira, you know how I've been telling you rugby in what we call Ebyalo is growing,
Ebyalo.
like what we call like Northern Uganda, Eastern Uganda, rugby is growing. Well, Eastern Uganda is not sleeping. They are not seated. They have not just stopped at having a female team. There's a new rugby club in Tororo. That is Tororo Rugby Club. There is
Tororo.
Yeah, that's Eastern Uganda.
Okay.
So Eastern Uganda rugby is growing. There is now Tororo Rugby Club. If you remember Timothy Byaruhanga, who was from Ginger Hippos, that was last season. So he has grown the culture of rugby. He moved to Tororo and he has grown the culture of rugby and actually initiated the beginning of Tororo Rugby Club.
Wow,
it's a baby club. It's new. It's just starting. They actually have a certificate which has been issued to them by the union, which means they are now an official rugby club.
Wow.
They have started training. They are collecting like young talent, introducing them to the game, training them, teaching them.
Timothy, thanks for
But
that.
thank you so much.
Thank you for-
Someone who
keep it
is-
up.
You're not even from like Eastern Uganda, but his love for the game, he will keep moving with it wherever he is. Because when
And
he
he
was in
introduced
Ginger, he joined Ginger Hippos. When he moved from Ginger to Tororo, he didn't let the game die. He moved with the game,
basically.
So right now they've done a proposed budget to like have balls, to have referees recruited, referee training, training for there's players, provisions for what players are going to need, provisions for the field. Ideally, there's a young budget. We could actually share it on our social media so that the general public can get to know what's happening.
To know what is happening in Tororo.
But there's actually a budget. You can really see it's something beautiful. It's something new, and I wish to see more and more and more of like
of
this
of
like
this,
rugby
of this
clubs
work.
just
I mean,
sprouting.
people, if you leave rugby, don't go and sit and relax and
You know,
count yourself
because
as a veteran.
you know, a lot of us actually say,
Twapo.
my office has
My
transferred
office
me
has
to
transferred.
Soroti. Now me.
Ah.
Yes, go Soroti and start. I'm
Rugby
actually
yakoma
very
Kampala.
exactly.
And
And
you
then you're
like,
like,
I'm in
I'm
Soroti. Go to Soroti, bring a team in Soroti.
because I'm now
can
impressed.
also
So yeah,
play.
Tororo now has a new rugby
Imagine
club.
Tororo.
It is certified by the union. It's called the Tororo Rugby Club. They've actually done a weekend friendly. That was sometime last week where they did a weekend friendly, where they did corporates together with these young training teams, these young training lads who are creating that team. But then if the energy this Timothy guy has started with keeps picking up,
Keep picking. I think it's
by the end of this year, we don't need next year, by the end of this year, we are going to see Tororo somewhere. There's somewhere in Bale Eagles came.
Tororo coming here to play
Exactly,
the
somewhere in Bale Eagles just sprouted out of nowhere and now they have an academy.
Okay, that's all about in Tororo.
Yeah.
We need more projects to come up. Anything from international?
Definitely. So
What is happening?
you know, there's been this boycott, a social media boycott. On the international scene. The social media boycott began with football, and I think
Yes, I heard about the football thing.
It became very
They refused
viral
Manchester to play.
it became very viral when Thierry Henry actually took to his official social media handles, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram,
Yes.
and then he posted and he said he is quitting all forms of social media because of segregation, racism. There is so much racism and hate on social
the
media.
media.
And then like people create fake accounts which now just keep spreading hate.
Yes.
So the campaign started with football, and ideally the whole point was for social media authorities to have a better control on discrimination posts, on posts that promote hate, be it racism or the whole point was discrimination and hate on social media. So it began with football. It did very well. Football has really joined in.
Yes, football
It
has
reached the
joined
point
in.
whereby Manchester City actually said when they win the cup, they are not going to celebrate it on social media.
They will celebrate it manually
On TV.
on TV. If you don't want it,
On
it's
TV
okay.
and in the field. Anyway, on Thursday, that was Thursday, that was 27th, 28th April. Yes,
yes.
rugby
Rugby also
came out to show solidarity to football.
Otio.
Rugby has jumped onto the boat. They also boycotted social media. That is rugby teams, rugby players, organizations to do with rugby, sponsors, influencers in rugby. But this is happening at an international scene at the moment. All teams of the Rugby Africa have not yet said anything about this. But on the international scene, rugby has joined. Yeah, rugby has joined. It has actually become viral. Like the English, the national team, the English team has boycotted. The Scottish team has boycotted. Wales has boycotted. Now, leave alone the national teams, even clubs have boycotted. Players have boycotted. Organization, media houses like now there's a very big media house like Lovell Rugby has boycotted. Like a lot rugby. There's this rugby post. Also a very big rugby media house which has boycotted. Like a lot of the rugby related entities on the international team, on the international scene have boycotted rugby. I actually don't know why Rugby Africa countries have not jumped onto this boat, but I think it is very necessary for Rugby Africa, because ideally, because we're already black, we're already going to keep getting discrimination. You know, you go for an international team and you're like the black people and you're the only black team. You're going to get it. So ideally, Rugby Africa countries.
I think Rugby Africa countries would be the first to do this.
I think they should have jumped
This is
onto
about
this
racism.
as well.
This is about segregation. So please, my African people, come in.
African teams ideally.
African
so
teams,
this boycott is supposed to go on from a Friday 30th up to Monday 3rd May.
So it's
and then from 4th May,
4 days.
Yeah, it's a 4-day boycott. Then from 4th May, they are going to resume social media. I don't know under what terms, under what conditions. That is, we are yet to see. But then they'll resume social media on 4th May. And hopefully the people in charge of social media entities are able to do something about this whole discrimination and hate. Because it's really disorganizing sport. It's affecting sport in a very, very negative way. But ideally, that is all I have from the international scene from this weekend.
So ideally, that's what we had about rugby.
You had fixtures.
So we have fixtures. These are final way.
Oh yeah, this next weekend, 8th May, is the 10th. It's the 10th 10th game.
Then
Because there were 10 games this season.
it's the final one. And
That's
I'm
how we
so
are going
sad
to
that
know
I'm going
who
to watch
took the
it.
league.
I'm so sad I'm not going to watch it. But anywho, these are the fixtures. We have Cubs versus Pirates.
Which is going to be the game of the
At
season.
Legends. This is
You
the
know, like
game
the
that we've been
Fox
waiting
and-
for.
Legends
Cubs,
about to
Pirates.
charge us 50k to end down. This is the game
This
of
one they
the
will charge us
season.
even 100. But this is the game of the season. Please miss at your own risk, of course, but keep it safe. Wear a mask. However much that
So called in there, if HS fans are so called just read fixtures. I remember
fixtures. Then we have hippos and mongas. This will be at the dam. Eidinda. So Abebu Soga. Hippos are playing mongas. Then we have heathens versus rhinos here at our home grounds, Chadondo.
Yes.
Yes. Then we have buffaloes versus warriors at Chadondo still. So Chadondo has 2 games.
Yes.
If you want to watch both, please, the first game starts at 2. Our game Warriors starts at 4.
Now, the one thing I'm not getting is this weekend is the 10th game. This is the final weekend.
This is the final
So,
week.
when
of the
is
league.
that? There's that game of Rhinos Warriors, which they say was postponed. Is it going to be during that week? Is it going? Are they going to accept to give a walkover and just let Buffalo
We
take
haven't,
the
yet,
win?
we haven't yet got information about that.
I think that's information that should be made a bit public
A
on
bit
what
public
exactly
on what
is supposed to
happened
happen to that
because it was
game,
Rhinos Warriors.
which was postponed.
We don't know.
But ideally after this weekend, we're not going to look at the game again.
Yes.
Anyway, that aside,
So those are the fixtures. Please try and catch up.
that aside, this weekend's games is going to show us the week. First of all, I am from the Pirates Cubs game. Why I've called it the game of the season? It's from that
Where do
game
you
we
know
are
the
going to
winner?
know who that.
Where do you know
Touch
the
your
winner?
mouth. Pirates could turn things the other way round. Touch your mouth.
You said I give him his.
Anywho, yeah, it's from this game that we're going to get to know the winner of the season, the second.
But Pirates
I think
wins,
already but I don't think that table is going to change. Do you think
Cubs
the
will
table is going to
be.
change?
The Cubs will reign.
I don't know. Me on my end, it's not
Cubs.
on stage. It's going to be
Cubs.
Cubs, Pirates, Heathens. I don't know. I don't
As
think.
usual, let's do it.
I don't think the
Yeah, the
table-
Blues, the Blue Army.
I really don't think the table is going to change. I don't.
I hope Aredo is not going so that he can do the kicks.
But if you think the table is going to change, you can see our center. The table is not changing. We are ending the season like this. If you think the table is changing, in top 3, the bottom down Rams might actually come up and Warriors Zips. I don't know. Who knows? Anyway,
Warriors,
our center. The first 3 teams, I
Warriors,
don't think
pull
are
up your
changing.
stockings. Buffaloes, it's just an animal, so it's okay. We are Warriors, Shaka Zulus. We can slaughter it.
The first 3
However
teams.
much they
So
like
see
that,
our
that
center.
they are
Comment
home.
down below if you actually want to see our center so we might.
Sebakono, esitamuluma, osiriembeka. Zogere, esitakuluma, tuwe tuzirya tezikuluma.
ayagala okukola competition yana setting as a sentence. Anyways, that has been
Abagagasi
it.
bange.
That has been it from this week's episode of the Rugby Connect 256. Thank you for watching. Thank you for being
follow,
with us.
comment, contribute, join the fun.
Yes, let's make this as interactive.
Join the fun. If
as
you have any
possible.
information, bring to us. This show is about Ugam. Twagala byononese.
No, me, I like the good things. I like the good things. I want to know who dominated where, who did
Bring it to
where.
us.
But yes, ideally,
Bring
everyone.
it byononese. Who fought who in the bananga bafani. Zimwanyagala ku Ugam. Who was screaming? Who was
Thank you
Follow
for
us on
watching.
Rugby
Follow us
Connect
on Rugby Connect 256.
Facebook,
Also social media,
Instagram,
yes.
and
Twitter,
Twitter.
Rugby
Connect
Connect
to 56.
256.
I've
It
been
was
Shakira
nice-
Muhammad, aka Mama Warriors.
It was nice having you. I'm Dorcas Mundua, and we are a channel Rugby.
Happy Ramadan.